Welcome back to another exciting, head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. I'm your host, as usual, today, and I'm going to give you a rundown of my last video, but more in depth as far as the evidence itself. Now, I want to start with the first two. That is the young woman who disappeared after her 911 call went dead. Her name was, or is, Lauren Elizabeth Thompson. She's 32. Well, she was 32 when she went missing. Now, she hasn't been seen since Thursday around that time when she first went missing. She was about 5'5". She's, tall, 190 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. And now, the thing about her that really got me, I'm not going to talk about the case because I already did that. But the one thing that got me the most was that they said that she was last seen in black sweatpants or leggings, and she had on a black hoodie. Now, wherever she was going, she was in a wooded area when she called 911 and said that somebody was chasing her. Now, she said somebody, not something. So maybe whatever it was, it could have been some unknown assailant that was tracking her and wanted to do away with her, maybe, or maybe she was trespassing on his property, or maybe whatever it was disguised itself as a human and was lurking in the woods and was monitoring her. I don't know, but it was just kind of weird how she was wearing an all-black outfit in the woods. Now, we've also heard a lot of things about people wearing light clothing in the woods. Those seem to be the ones that always get taken. But she was wearing black clothing, all black, yet she's still missing. So, could that be a good reason for them to maybe abduct her and give her some information that she needs to bring back? Like the woman from the interview that I gave, the one that went to the Brown Mountain National Park. She was wearing all black. She knew what to do. She had dogs with her and everything, and she was with a group. Now, the fact that she still came back is the good thing. So maybe that will happen to her. She will come back with some information that nobody knows. Just like my friend. She came back with the evidence to show everyone what actually happens to a person when they go out there. She came back with all the answers. Yes, you have your people that's trolling and they don't believe her. They say, oh, this is fake, because they are looking for a certain type of evidence. Evidence for something that is unexplained or of the unknown has to be raw. It can't be something that you have to have in HD or everything got to be sharp and all that stuff. When you catch something like that, it's in the spur of the moment. So you don't have time to pretty everything up or doctor everything or clean it up and do all this other crap before you send it out there. I'm going to send it to you as is, how it looked when I first recorded it. Now, I'm going to try my best to zoom in on it, or I'm going to try my best to stay still so so the camera won't rock. Excuse me. So the camera won't rock or anything like that. That is the most rawest footage you could ever get when it comes to finding, well, not finding, but being in an opportunity where you can record something like that. Like what she did, all the stuff that she recorded, like these weird looking beings moving around in the distance, behind the trees, and this thing that's on all fours moving around, it moves to the right as the camera is going this way. You got to catch it really quick, but it's so blurry and so distorted and so raw that you couldn't really make out what it was. You just knew it was something that was moving in that area. It could have been maybe some type of creature that we didn't know of. It could have been anything. It was on all fours, so it could have been like another Mowgli or Tarzan. Who knows? I don't know. But still, could have been a wild man for all we know. But all I know is it just seemed kind of weird that she was wearing black clothing, like as if she knew what would be happening out there, and she has listened and probably listened to some of David Paulides' interviews on YouTube, or even listen to Coast to Coast AM like I used to. But and if you're wondering why I used to, it's only because I feel like all the times I've been watching that, listening to that station, not one person has the answers to all of our questions. because all they have is straight up theories that look like they're going somewhere, but when you realize that they're not, you be like, okay, well, I'm not getting anywhere with this, so I just stop listening. I love the show, I love George Norrie, but if I can't get the answers that I seek, I'm not going to watch or listen to you. Not saying that I'm not giving you your respect, I do, because you have David Paulides on there all the time, and, you know, he's basically my idol, you know, so I give them that respect, but I just know that I'm not going to get the answers from that show, so, you know, I just leave that alone. But anyway, I'm on a different path and doing my thing, so this is how I'm going to do it. Now, I also want to talk about the other woman that I talked about. This woman, her name is, was Doris McIntosh. Now, this woman here, she was visiting her husband in the hospital in Carthage, which is somewhere near where the other woman disappeared. Now, she left the place to go back home. She kind of got lost in the process, so she pulled off the side of the road and went to this house and asked the person there how to get to such and such a place. And he told her. She actually goes into the direction she was told to go into, and the guy immediately called 911, telling them that she seemed confused and disoriented. So he was worried about her. But by the time they could even get in touch with her, they never did. And at that point, that was the last time she was ever seen. They put together a search party and turned up no evidence. To this day, her disappearance is considered one big mystery because she disappeared in 2009, and she's been missing ever since. Now, they say when they found the car, it was stuck in the mud. The door was open, the heat was on, and but the keys and her purse was missing. I'm trying to say, how is it that the heat is still on, but the keys and the purse is missing? When I turn the car off and pull the key out, everything stops. Now, if I turn the key and leave it on off to a certain, well, if you don't turn it all the way, if you have it on in a certain position, everything stays on, but the engine is off. It's like running on some sort of like residual power or something like that, because the heat stays on. It just don't be as hot. You know, it spits out warm air. So all I know is that's what they said. It was in they found the car, and there was nothing in it that could say that she was even there. Everything was gone, her purse and her keys. So she got out because she got stuck in the ditch, and they said that she probably walked the rest of the way, and it was near a oil and like a oil drilling facility. And like I said, that was the last time anyone ever saw her. She hasn't been seen since. So, you know, that right there, I just had to repeat that because that was a pretty crazy one. You know, she gets lost, and somewhere between point A and point B, on her way trying to get somewhere, she vanishes. And it kind of reminds me of this old lady that I read about in one of my last videos. Can't remember her name, but she lived on a farm with her husband and her daughter. Her daughter owned the house that was on the farm, and she was going to get off the tractor because I guess her father was the father was tilling the land, and she was riding on the tractor with him and everything. But she got hungry for lunch, so she was going to get off and go home and, you know, fix her something to eat, like a sandwich or something. So what she does the Shoeless Joe thing and walks through this cornfield, right? We're talking high cornfield. Wait, it's not them fields where it comes up to the waist, but it's like up here like this, because she walks through it just like how they do in Field of Dreams, and somewhere between the entryway and the house, she vanishes and is never seen again. They looked at the husband, saying that he probably did something. They said that she probably got disoriented and she fell and hit her head and died. But there's no sign of the body, so how could that even happen? Plus the fact she was right on the outside of the area where her house was. Okay? I mean, there was just a field in between her and the house. And I'm pretty sure the field was pretty big. That's why they walked through it. But she disappeared and was never seen again. Now, Also want to talk about the TV show that David Paulides has just put out on the History Channel. It's called The Vanished. Such an ominous name. It is so amazing to see all of the things that he's done for the book he's doing in the TV show. So much better than the movie. I did like the movie, but it didn't talk about the things that it said it was going to talk about in the previews, like the Stelling family that it was supposed to talk to. They talked to them, but it was the ranger that they claimed that they were going to talk to. He didn't want to talk. So when you see in the preview, he said, I don't think I should have told you guys that. So they completely cut that part out just out of respect for him, because he would have lost his job by him saying what he said. Even though they did play that part in the previews, he still said he shouldn't have said all that. But I know for a fact that the whole thing is all derives from the ones in power. Those are the ones that's in control of the government. Therefore, they're in control of the federal portion of the government as well, like the national park part. You have all these weird happenings going on out there. They know something about it because they were part of it. So they don't want anyone to realize that it's leading back to them. They know the government has something to do with it, but they don't realize the people in charge of the government has something to do with it. Right? So that's the perfect cover-up. It's a government, behind a government, behind a government, behind a government, until you reach the very core of the government, the top. Okay? You got all these different layers. You got the military, you got armed forces, you got the Navy, you got the Rangers, you got all these different organizations compiled into one conglomerate that makes up the government. It's not actually a government, it's an organization that is linked together to work as one. But the power behind that is these people called the ones in power. They put all this together. Now, going back to that again. The TV show. Loved it. Loved every second of it. It was very detailed, very informative. It showed you everything, like the disappearance list, like how they say it can't be someone who was attacked by an animal. It had all kinds of different listings on there on what it should be, and it was very amazing. Now, this whole thing about Dakota James, I want to talk about that too. I posted a video about him shortly before the newest one, or if I didn't already talk about him, I might have talked about him separately. But anyway, the whole point is, the one thing that's weird about him, about his case, is that he was supposed to have been walking across a bridge and walked down some steps to take a piss, and next thing you know, he ends up in the river. Here's my problem. You're walking across a bridge. Now, if he was alone in that area, maybe there weren't a lot of people in that area when he was walking across the bridge, or maybe he was walking across the bridge completely alone. It was deserted, in a deserted area. If you fell in the river, you're going to make, what? A splash, right? So somebody is going to hear something. You mean to tell me anybody that was in the area where he was at didn't hear a tiny little splash in the distance, like something fell in? Now you hear it, you're going to be thinking, oh, maybe it was a fish that jumped up out of the water and landed back in it. Salmon do that when they're mating. They travel upstream to get to a certain area where they can mate. But nobody knows that there's salmon in that river that he fell in. So, what else you do? You think about something else. That something else would be some kid is throwing a rock in the water. But rocks make a kerplunk noise. They don't make a splashing noise. A splashing noise is caused by a very heavy, dense object or a dense, heavy body. Because you have to hit the water at the right angles just for you to make a splash. If you hit it with a big boulder or something that is clumpy but big, it's going to make a loud blunk or kerplunk noise in the water. It's not going to be like, it's going to be like, bloop. It's going to be a real loud one, and then you're going to hear that little ruffle of water at the very end. I know, because I've done it all of my life when I was a kid. So I know what the sounds sound like. But a splash is caused by a number of different areas of one big object that is extended out, like a body or something with other attachments. That's what will make the splashing noise. You really got to think about these things. If you know what a body sounds like when it hits the water, like think about it when it's diving off of a diving board. What sound does it make? It makes a loud splashing noise. You throw rocks in the water. Boop, boop. You hear that noise. You know? So, obviously, to the logical thinking mind that thinks in 3 dimensions, you will know that somebody just fell in that water. Now, where? I don't know. You won't know. You just know that something happened. But you can't really call the police and say, well, I heard something hit the water. What did you hear hit the water? What did you, okay, you heard something hit the water, but what was it? Did you see what hit the water? No, I just heard it. It sounded like it was, pretty far away, but loud enough for me to hear it. Okay, well, that's not too much to go on. What river were you at? They tell them the river. They go in there, they search. Next thing you know, they find his body a couple of 100 miles down from where he was last seen, or where he went in, because they said the body traveled. They still don't understand how it could have done that, but it did. And that's where they found him, at its resting point. No blunt objects were, no blunt object bruises were found on the body. So he was not hit by anything before he hit the water. That means he was not killed. Thank you very much. That's what they're thinking. He was killed and then dumped in the water. But if they didn't knock him over the head with something hard and heavy, then what else was there? Obviously, that means something weird happened to him. They keep trying to say they found these markings of a smiley face near the area where he was found, making it look like it was one of these smiley face killers. But think about this. What killers do you know leave behind no evidence whatsoever? Yes, some of them do get away with doing these things for years, like the JonBenet Ramsey case. They never found that person. They keep thinking they did because they want to keep blaming on the family. It was this old white man that was visiting the grave trying to say he had a lot to do with it, or he was the one that did it. He was in jail for some other stuff. I think he was a child molester. But still, all these years that these people have been killing people, they never left behind no evidence. They've always left evidence behind every time. Sorry, I keep looking off, but it's such a beautiful day. I just keep looking outside. It's nice and sunny, and I'm off today, so it feels good. Even though I'm in the house, I know it's cold outside. But all I'm saying is that this is a very weird case, and for him to end up the way he did and not have any evidence of his death on his body, like, basically a blunt force object bruise on his forehead, on the back of his head, anything they could use to knock him out. I don't think there was any blood, any kind of tainted blood in his body, like say there was drugs involved where they slipped something in his drink. And here's another thing too that I don't think was on the information on the internet. I don't think I read this part, but he was at a gay bar. He was an openly gay teen, and his parents were very open with him. They're very proud of him for being so open about his sexuality, and he hung out in places like that. They even talked to a guy that knew him because he served him a lot at the bar, and he didn't know he was missing until they came to him and said something, and he was telling him all the stuff that needed to be said about who he was. He was a nice, well-rounded young man. He was into some of everything. A good soccer player. He's very nice guy. Everybody liked him. So, and then he was a good swimmer too. He was on the swim team. So how is it that a person that ended up in the river dead, who was actually, how does someone that is on the swim team, is very good at swimming, knows how to swim, ends up dead in the river? That makes no sense. See, all these things that they're good at, it's like they falter once they get in the water. Like if you're a good swimmer or you're a good hiker, all these people that have all these expertise in their individualities always end up dying in a manner that says they're not as good as they think they are. It's weird. Think about it. You go into a park, you've been hiking all your life, and all of a sudden, poof, you're gone. You disappear without a trace. A person that's a good swimmer, who is on a swim team and has actually won medals and stuff like that, you end up dead in the same type of element that you're good at, swimming in water. How is that even possible? You're good at something, but you die in the same manner. You hike real well, but you disappear in a national park that you hike in. You swim very well, but you end up dying in the same element that you're good in swimming in. Weird. how is that's the part that bugs me the most. How is it that you disappear doing the one thing that you're very good at? You fall in the river, you're supposed to be able to swim. You disappear without a trace in a national park on a trail that you've been hiking on for years. That lets you know that even if you're good at something, you're still not safe. So you have to follow all the protocols. Look at the ones that don't disappear or come back wearing dark clothes, or have dogs with them, or travel in groups, tight groups where they don't go astray from each other. You know, I've heard of people traveling on the trail, and all of a sudden, somehow they get split up. Like there may be a fork in the road, and they think it's going to connect again, because some of them do. They'll kind of loop around like that, where you see a tree in the center, and it loops around and it meets back up on that same road. But that didn't happen. That trail ended up going that way, and they were so busy walking, they didn't realize. They said, okay, I'll catch up. Next thing you know, you see the trail just keeps going to the right, to the right, to the right, and then all of a sudden, you way off course, and all of a sudden, you never seen it again. You literally vanish just because you went off trail. You know, you think you just walking near the person, but that trail ends up going down and to the right, and it may be going in a direction that doesn't have anything to do with where they're going. Their direction may be going this way, so you probably going like this on that trail. That's how them people get split up, and then they vanish without a trace. It's like reality walks you right into your own disappearance. Okay, you don't know that it's going to happen, and it's like you were meant to disappear almost, which is weird. But a lot of them are mistakes because they're being left open by the ones that they call the dark ones. You know, these people that don't like humans and like to eat and devour humans as a delicacy. That's what we are. We're delicacies to these dark ones. And that is a lot more ominous than it is for, what's that guy? Ted Bundy, that ate people. He was a cannibal, but this is something completely different. You know, so I gotta take these glasses off because having a problem here. They keep falling out. I need some super glue, but I don't have any. I can't go get them because, you know. Anyway, but yeah, very crazy stuff going on here with that stuff. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do another video about that and make it a little bit more in depth about some of the profile points. The small ones, but still they make a lot of sense. So yeah, I just want to get that because I know it was kind of short. It was like only a couple of minutes long. I think it was like 9 minutes because I was tired and then I had just got off of work and I was just sleepy and I just couldn't really focus. So I wanted to make sure I did it on my day off. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there are some more of these cases, and I just might, you know what, the heck with it. Let me see how much time I got here. Only 23 minutes. You know what? I'm going to talk about some more cases. Yeah. Yep, there's a couple of new ones I've seen up there that look very promising, so I'm going to check them out real quick. Just give me a second here. I'm going to have to scroll back up to the one that I saw. It looked like a brand new one. So I wanted to catch up on that one. There was another young man that went missing. As a matter of fact, this one right here, it's a note right here about a young man. I think they said that he disappeared somewhere near where Dakota James disappeared. It says here, mystery for Morgantown, West Virginia. This is Roger Shrout. He went out walking to his brother's house last night around 7 on Van Voorhis Road in Morgantown. Had a backpack on with his electronics, and his backpack was found in a ditch, and his phone's last location is near the river. Now it also says here that Dakota James was from Pittsburgh. Yeah, okay, Pittsburgh. Anyway, from Pittsburgh, or close, right? When it's that they're talking, it says, where I see a picture in some post of this group of the places near where he vanished, and was a smiley face graffiti in a rooftop. That's strange. I hope found soon. And well, this boy. Okay, sorry for the bad English. Oh, yes. Obviously she's from another country. So if that person is watching this, don't worry about it. Okay, let me see. I want to check that one story. I think that was one of them. This darn thing keep advancing funny. It's got a lot of new stories on here, and they got one here on Dakota James again. But that new one, let me see. Is there a new one right here? Oh, yeah, I ain't trying to. That ain't got nothing to do with this. Here's some old stories. I want to find that newest one. I mean, I'm talking like old stories, like back in like the early 50s. It's another one about Dakota James. The missing 411 alternative, man. They have a lot of great information on here. If you want to catch up on some of the most newest information on people who disappeared, missing 411 alternative on Facebook, it's a forum. That's the place to go to. But yeah, it's very. I don't think I talked about Tommy Booth though. I might have, like in the books, like in the missing 411 books. And I think I talked about Brian Schaefer too. I think I did. Oh, here we go. This is a new one about a guy named Gabriel Cordova Tejada. Okay, now Gabriel's family is heartbroken over his disappearance and truly believes someone knows where Gabriel is. As he went missing, he's been missing since February 22nd of 2018. This thing called Leo case number 2018-008036. Let's see, and this really all it doesn't really say too much because this is obviously a fresh case. Okay, it says right here, due to the tip received, he may be in the Southern California area. Gabriel Cordova Tejada has been missing since February 2018, and his family wants him back home. Please call the anonymous tip line at 321-888-2198. So that's a little bit of tidbit information about him. Brand new information, so there's not too much to say about it. But yeah, that was the newest one. But these other ones, wow, there's a lot of guys on here. Some of the guys I don't think I remember talking about. There's about, let me see, 6 guys that allegedly vanished without a trace. Let's see here. I figure since we got enough time and I'm off today, I can kind of splurge with some of the information as soon as it pops up here. I want to give you guys a good show to listen to, you know. Yeah. Got my millionaire shirt on, you know. Got my agua, my wawa, my water. Oh yeah. And I'm watching that mini documentary series about Dakota James. Hey, well, that's okay. That's okay. But let me call you back though, cause I'm actually on. I'm doing my show right now, and I'll call you as soon as I'm finished. All right, bye. That was my best friend, my bud, and for some reason, my darn internet just went out because I've been having problems with my cable. Oh boy, see, it's saying connected. Let me make sure. It's still not connected though. I was just getting ready to go in, and the darn cable, not so much the cable went out. I've been having a problem with it. Keeps going in and out, and it's driving me nuts. Because you know, when the cable goes out, my internet goes out, and I don't have an auxiliary. Jeez. Okay, so since I can't do that, I'm gonna just have to do it on my phone. Get the information off of that. Okay. Now let me go to Facebook, and I'm gonna have to go to missing 411 alternative myself. That's the best way for me to do that. Look. This info alternative. See if I can find that. There we go. And go to the top. You can see on here they talking a lot about the. They're all talking about the TV show that David Politis put out, which comes on the. Just so you know, it comes on the History Channel on Saturdays. I don't know what time. You have to check your local listings because I'm pretty sure in certain states they may come on at different times due to your due to what time zone you may be in. So it may be coming on a little bit later or a little bit sooner. I don't know. But yeah, I want to see what this stuff is all about. It says right here, here are 6 of the alleged victims of the smiley face killings. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing that I was talking about before. It's just talking about more young men that were disappearing because of that. Oh, Kevin Gannon. Yeah. He's been mentioned a lot in some of these cases. And this one's about Dakota James. They got another one here about Tommy Booth. Now, Tommy Booth was he was about 24 when he disappeared on January 19th of 2008 from a bar in Woodland, Pennsylvania. That night he had been celebrating a friend's 21st birthday with a group of friends. Surveillance footage captured Booth entering the bar where the celebration took place, but there is no video evidence of him leaving. Oh, okay. This sounds like, or is, yeah, this is the story about that guy that goes into that bar. And the surveillance footage shows him going into the bar, but it never shows him going out, even through the back of the bar. So he literally just vanished within inside the bar. And that's a very familiar case because this happens a lot in bars where they see you in the bar, people be around you, but somehow, some way, in all the commotion with everybody having fun and drinking and stuff and watching the game, you literally just vanish in that crowd. You know, it's like being covered up by a whole bunch of people, and they're not even paying attention to you. Maybe there's something else going on. They got their back to you. They're not focusing on who you are because they don't know you. And all of a sudden, you literally just vanish in between them, right in the middle of them, which is very weird. You know, I can't seem to figure that part out. That's weird. You know, so yeah, this is the case about that guy. I forgot. It's like a place called the Saloon, I think, the bar that he was in. I don't think I saw the name of the bar, but that's basically what that was about. You know, that's that famous case of the surveillance footage. And then you got Lucas Holman. I don't think I read anything about him ever, but this guy. On September 29th of 2006, 21-year-old Lucas Holman vanished from La Grosse, Wisconsin, the day of his disappearance. Holman had been celebrating Oktoberfest with his friends. After a night of bar shopping, Holman headed home at around 10 p.m. with a friend. Holman and his friend somehow got separated during their walk home, and his friend ended up at the ER detox with a head injury after being picked up by the police. Okay, he told investigators he could not remember anything that happened that night. Holman did not arrive for a golf outing on the next day. Search dogs scoured the downtown area where Holman was last seen alive. According to police reports, one dog later hit on an SUV owned by a local band member who had played a show at the bar the next night of Holman's disappearance, but the K9 alert was inconclusive. Officials did not implicate the band member in Holman's death. The morning of October 2nd, Holman's body was found not far from the shore of the Mississippi River. His death was ruled an accidental drowning, and the autopsy report noted acute alcohol intoxication was a major contributing factor. Now, see, they always want to. Okay, I already talked about Todd Guy, so I don't have to talk about him. But yeah, they always want to add all that stuff to a very mysterious case because that's their best way of solving a very mysterious case, especially if it doesn't make any sense. Think about it. You and your friend are walking home. Now, where, I don't know. If they're walking in the street trying to get back to their house, okay, now if they're at a bar, that means they're in town. So somehow, some way they get separated. How, I don't know. They're supposed to be walking together in a tight rope, right? But no, they're walking apart from each other. Probably one guy was walking in the street as he was walking on the sidewalk, and they meet back up on the sidewalk just to be, playful or whatever. But somehow, when he's not looking and focused on going home, somehow they get separated. And that is the major key in this case. How did they get separated on a road with a bunch of cars, late or early in the morning? So that's the mystery. How did they get separated? What separated them? Now, the guy that was found by the police said that he couldn't remember nothing that happened that night. So they said I think they said he had some trauma to the head. I think. Let me see. Go back. According to various footprints. Oh, I forgot to read that part. Okay, I make sure I gotta read the last part. Okay, 10 p.m. Well, they headed home around 10 p.m., so it was still nightfall. Okay, and the friend got separated. He was found by the police. He was in the ER and couldn't remember nothing that happened that night. So, whatever happened to him between when he got separated from Lucas, something happened to him that was pretty bad. Now, he said he don't remember, so that means he was clunked over the head. But by what and by who? So that's the crazy part. He says he don't remember anything that happened that night. Oh boy. So what could have happened to him? Nobody knows. So, but he did say he had a head injury. So maybe by him being so drunk, he fell, hit his head on a rock, passed out, and was found by the police later on that night, and he had amnesia. Maybe. Or maybe somebody hit him over the head and knocked him out. Didn't even bother to try and kill him because their goal was to kill Lucas, I guess. I don't know. They knocked him out so they could get at him, and maybe it was somebody who knew him. Maybe he made somebody mad, or he didn't want to do his homework, so he flunked. I don't know. They was in college. College kids, they get a little rowdy sometimes, But that's anybody's guess. I don't really know what happened, and I doubt I ever will because I wasn't there. But I just know that that's a weird case, So, but yeah, guys, I just really wanted to get that out there because, I wanted to make sure it was more in depth about what I said because it was too short. Like I said, I was tired. I had to find the right time to put this information out there, and I wanted to talk about all these new cases and talk about the whole the situation with Dakota James and everything, and how weird that case was. Because like I said before, you're going across a bridge to go down the steps to take a piss, and all of a sudden you end up in the river, but yet nobody hears you fall in the river. So obviously you weren't placed there at the time when they thought you went in. You was put there probably right before, because they said that whole thing on how the water can tell how long you've been in the water. He was missing for a couple of days, but the amount of time he was in the water didn't match up with how long he'd been missing, right? So, and that happens with every case. It shows how long you've been in the water, but you were never in the water as long as you've been missing. So that means somebody held you captive. Was it the smiley face killers? I don't know. Was it interdimensional beings? I don't know. But his body was recovered with no cause of death. No blunt force trauma to the body. Nothing. He was just there. Now, this other guy, the one that was found in the river, Lucas, they just say he was found you know. And I'm gonna read this last part here because I forgot about this part. Okay, according to Gannon and Gilbertson, Holman was Holman had various injuries to his head, hands, and arms, and they theorized that a mark on his forehead may have been a footprint that was the result of Holman being held down. Holman was the 8th accidental drowning case in La Grosse over a 9-month period. A smiley face was found spray painted near where Holman's body was found. Okay, now reading that part, they said that he had what looked like a footprint on his head. So that means something stomped. Say what? Now see, I'm having that weird thing happen with Siri again where it's activating on its own without me pressing the thumb button, and it sent me to a place that shows footprints, you know, by picking them up, like putting a cast on it so it look like a fossil, so don't know why that keep happening, but it keeps happening around me. It keeps activating itself. But anyway, like I was saying, wait, what was I saying? Oh, that last part that I read. Yeah, the last part that I read. So obviously he was beat down by somebody, by some unknown assailants that used the smiley face. So maybe they are real. For them saying that there was a footprint found on his head, it looked like he was being beat down by somebody or a group of people. The fact that that even happened means that he had some wrong dealings with the wrong people, or bad dealings with the wrong people. And they didn't like him for whatever it is that he did, or maybe he tried to turn him in and they beat him down and killed him. I don't know. But for them saying that, obviously that's what that was. Somebody did that to him. But that doesn't mean that it was a smiley face killer. So it could have been somebody else. It could have been, who knows, somebody else that may have seen him or didn't like him. But that don't mean it was a smiley face killer. But it is what it is. But anyway, guys, I'm enjoying my day off. I'm going to get on off of here, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. I'm going to get back on my book and do my thing, and try to figure out what's going on with my cable because it just went out again. I don't know why. Like the other night, it went out. It was out all day, and I had to get it fixed when I came home, and it took until like 11 o'clock. I got home around 8:30, so it was like 11 o'clock until when the cable came back on. So I didn't have no power on my cable for like 3-4 hours, which sucked. Anyway, so I'm gonna get on out of here, guys. I'm glad you guys was able to join me and watch my show. And like I said, I wanted to make sure all that stuff was more in depth. I added some brand new cases about people that disappeared, just recently, but there wasn't too much to say about it because it just happened. So it was only a little bit saying, okay, they're missing, call this number. Bam. Short, sweet, and to the point. Anyway, but gotta go. You know how I do it at the end of every video. Aloha, mahalo, and hui ho. Peace out, brother, and peace out, wahine. All right.